prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as. Look at the shields on the Mars themselves.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take him.
What's up, everybody? We are back. This is Pain User.
And this is HD.
And we have a winner's bracket round 1 game for you guys. This is going to be between FX Open's mOoNan spawning as our red Terran in the 9 o'clock position. And over at the south portion of the map, we have our orange Terran. This is RG Fury.
Yeah, not forever. He's maybe playing on an alternate account or a friend's account right now, but he is RG Esports Fury, and this is going to be another Terran versus Terran mirror matchup broadcast. I'm excited because I love TVT, and it is going to be on the good old classic map, Metalopolis. What do you think we're going to see here, Pain User?
Well, Metalopolis, you know, one of those maps that's just been around forever. Everybody's got it figured out. And TVT on this map, such an interesting matchup, especially with these positions. It's so easy to camp out your opponent's production line. Yep. Hopefully, both of these players keep their main production facilities away,
next to their command centers.
Away from the northern wall position there. Because in the mid game, what'll often happen is players will fight for positioning at the Xel'Naga tower. And whoever wins that positioning battle is able to get position at their enemy's base and then start to elevator units into the main, which just creates such a difficult situation to get out of.
Yeah, it's just absolute havoc and carnage, and that's why in TVT, which relies a lot on tanks, you need to keep your production facilities next to your command center. Don't leave your buildings vulnerable, and that's also really the reason why in Terran versus Terran, you never see them wall their ramp off. I mean, it's just, there's really no added benefit to that.
To get those units killed.
The supply depots will go down.
Sometimes walling your ramp can be really good. It really depends. It can work for you or it can backfire. If they open with Hellions or Blue Flame Hellions, sometimes walling can be great. But in general, I think it's not even worth it. Not to mention, if someone tries to run up your ramp with a couple of Hellions, you should have quite a few Marines there. To kill the Hellions.
And believe it or not, Marines are fairly good against Hellions. But anyways, we digress. This is, looks like Fury here is going to be opening up with gas after barracks, and mOoNan, it's just going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to throw down in the next couple of seconds, though.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have Marines coming out of both players. Neither player getting a tech lab just yet, so it looks like we will be seeing a factory out of either player. Neither of them looking to do a Reaper opening. Everything essentially mirrored up until this point. Looks like mOoNan is going to win the positional battle for the Xel'Naga.
Nope.
Oh, never mind. Fury bringing in his initial Marine, but mOoNan is going to come right back with a Marine of his own, playing a little bit of cat and mouse here in mid. And who is going to come out on top? It looks like mOoNan will retain control over that Xel'Naga tower, and that's actually a pretty big deal. It gives you so much security. It gives you so much safety, and in the event that your opponent pushes, you're going to get a nice little heads up on what's coming and when it's coming.
Absolutely. Xel'Naga watchtowers are so key, especially with these spawn points. You guys can see now mOoNan, he fell back with his weakened SCV and Marine. He's deciding to bring out another SCV here, tagging the watchtower. Doesn't want to take it quite yet, and he's actually going to send this SCV into scout, but it may be picked off by these Marines at the perimeter. Doesn't look like it. We'll see what mOoNan can see, but in the meanwhile, Fury is building the factory down as he's getting a second gas. And for mOoNan, he is getting only...
Oh, we do have a reactor coming out of mOoNan. Both players choosing not to add add-ons onto their factories, just producing Hellions immediately. Also, both players adding starports immediately after the factory. So, look to see both of them using this Marine Hellion medevac style. And that is so good with these close positions. You can ferry units into the main. You can drop Marines in the back and swing around with Hellions through the front, up the ramp. That actually works out very well for a lot of players. And it looks like who got the first shot off? I don't know. It looked almost
I think they got the same shot off. And they both kind of weakened each other for about 4 or so HP. Now, you were mentioning the drops, very key, Pain User, absolutely right. Also, the steam vents here can prove to be a good spot to drop in as well, and mOoNan actually hasn't built a supply depot here, whereas his counterpart, Fury, has. And I like what Fury's done. He's just using every building to his advantage.
If you actually look, Fury has buildings positioned all the way around his base in a perimeter, so he's got like an early warning system for drops, and that's really a great thing to have. In TVT, Marines with a medevac can just decimate your mineral line so quickly. Also, Hellions can as well. Oh, and it looks like he is going to be able to maybe catch. Oh, and it does finally get that last shot off, just biting at his heels, takes out that Hellion, and he is going to ferry all of these units directly into the main of mOoNan. mOoNan looks like he might have enough to deal with this. It's going to be close.
All right, yeah, Fury is going to be dropping off. He's double loading and double elevating forces into the main of mOoNan. mOoNan doesn't know. I don't know if he's prepared for this. He may have to pull SCVs off the line to fend this off. Remember that dropship can't heal, but mOoNan has a dropship of his own, and there is some serious action going down right here.
With a horrible missed micro right there, moving his Hellions around. They weren't firing for the entire duration of that fight. I don't know what he was thinking. It could have been the delay. He is from Europe, obviously. Matches between European players and American players obviously played on the North American server. I don't think that mOoNan is in Korea during the time that this was played. I know he's not actually, so he was still in the United States. And mOoNan going to be able to exact his will in RG Fury's base right now. He just has total control, and he's going to be forced to pull SCVs here, and the Hellions are just going straight through him.
The Hellions here are going to cleave the SCV line. Those Marines are right now tanking the fire from those SCVs. It doesn't really matter, though. mOoNan doing some serious damage, and if we pull up the workers killed tab, doesn't look like it's working in this replay. So we could just pull up the income tab, and we see that Fury is suffering right now. He has 7 less SCVs than his opponent, and Fury now in a little bit of trouble. What is he going to do?
We do have Banshee follow-ups from both players. This is getting dirtier and nastier by the second. Hellion openers into Banshee. Both players getting cloaked. mOoNan's Banshee is going to get in there first. There are barely any Marines out on the field for Fury right now, so mOoNan going to look to pick off a few of these Marines. Actually picking up the Marines in the medevac right there. Doesn't want any of them to get picked off. But we do have a Banshee over in mOoNan's base, not really accomplishing much. 0 kills on that Banshee. It is going to head back to the Xel'Naga Tower, and we have a command center from mOoNan, so he is looking to take this out of the early game stage and go into a macro.
That is so important that you mentioned that. That command center means that mOoNan himself is going to be looking to go into a mid-stage, macro stage game here. He is not a man without a plan, whereas Fury is the one who's kind of struggling to gain some semblance of control over his base, trying to ward off these 2 Banshees, but that Cloak Man just comes in so handy, and it doesn't even look like Fury has enough energy to drop the comsat, nor does he have any. He has 1 missile turret up inside the main, but his starport is unprotected.
I mean, the most important thing here is the fact that Fury is so caught up dealing with these Banshees, and back at mOoNan's base, it's really not a big deal. He had 2 turrets up in the proper position, able to just, you know, keep his SCV line completely safe, and now it looks like he might pick off that last Banshee. No, not going to be able to get it. There will need to be another scan to take that Banshee out, but the 2 Banshees in Fury's main have just been working wonders. Not necessarily getting the most kills, but they've just been damaging buildings. They've been taxing his attention, and Fury, in all of this confusion, has not dropped an expansion. He's lost quite a few SCVs. You know, he hasn't really been focused on his infrastructure, and he's getting farther and farther behind. He's down on harvesters, and he's down by command center.
Yeah, that when you mention the infrastructure, that basically means he doesn't have an extra command center, whereas mOoNan does. And as soon as mOoNan decides to, you know, lift this off and secure his natural, he's going to be in a great position to continue forward with this game because he's going to have double the economy. I do believe he is getting siege mode as well. It looks like we have an elevator by Fury here as he's trying to bring in some Hellions, but the Banshees are going to just put a stop to this, and the Hellion has to take the front door to get out of there.
Yep, and mOoNan scouting on the far side of the map, looking for possible expansions with that Banshee. He is going to be able to slide in at the bottom of the mineral line. It doesn't look like Fury has much there to deal with it. Let's check out his mineral line real quick. He has 1 turret, so I think mOoNan will be able to find a sweet spot somewhere there in the mineral line and do quite a bit of damage. But we do have Fury's entire force moving out across the midfield right now. He does have quite an air force, several Vikings and a Banshee, and it looks like he's going to try and bring it to mOoNan right here.
Wow, if this push works, this is going to be incredible, but right now Fury has to multitask. He has to keep his... he's actually not even worried about the Banshee as he's pulling SCVs off the line now to help repair his attacking force. He's elevated Marines inside the main. Pain user, this could go really bad.
mOoNan pincering from both sides, loses his freaking Raven immediately, doesn't get the auto turret off. That's going to be terrible for him. Trying to repair that last tank. Fury bringing those SCVs off the line, but those SCVs really not accomplishing anything. And wow, mOoNan in such a fantastical position right now. He has fantabulous, amazing position. He is so far ahead right now. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to lose this game.
Amazing labulous. We have, yeah, you're right, Payne. Fury here is, he's not looking very good at all. In fact, let's pull up that army tab and see. He is down by 22 supply. That's a pretty big number.
Down by 22 supply and a base.
Yeah, and it's only 14 minutes in, Payne.
Yeah, keep in mind, mOoNan is double orbitals up. He's going to continue to double mule. He also has the utility of more scans should he choose to use them. And it looks like Fury getting a little bit ahead of himself here. Moving in with 3 Marines and a siege tank and a bunch of Vikings. It doesn't matter if you have air superiority if you have nothing on the ground to utilize it.
What matters at all is these Vikings are just going to take out everything, but the tanks and the Marines on the ground are going to go down. And Fury, GG's out of this game. What a good game by mOoNan, and I gotta say, a brilliantly executed just play in general, along with those Banshees. They did so much damage inside his main.
I'll just keep the post-analysis wrap-up real quick, because both of us were saying it throughout the entire game. mOoNan had that second command center, the second orbital. He was ahead on Harvesters the entire game, not necessarily ahead on Army until after you won that big engagement and then just clinched the game from there. So forever, GG's. First game of the series goes to FX Open's mOoNan, and we'll be right back with Game 2.
All right, stay tuned, guys. HD and Payne User signing out.